Hey everybody, welcome back to Vanta EDC. Today I'm going to be opening and giving you my first impressions on not a knife, but a pocket tool that I've been wanting to get for a while, but just didn't pull the trigger for various reasons. But recently, one of my favorite, gear retailers, Urban EDC, they just released an exclusive version of this. And so, without giving up too much before actually opening it, that's what I'll say for now, and we will get into this. I'll be using my recently acquired Null Knives Voodoo, which is a very, very great knife. Many positive things to say about it. I will take this off camera for a second just so that you don't see any information. But what we have is this. And so, as you can see what the box says, it's the Vero Engineering Fulcrum, but it is not just the basic one, it is the Black Sagaiha version, the exclusive to Urban EDC. They did 3 different Sagaiha versions, and I think some of them still might be available on the website at the time that I'm recording this. So yeah, let's go ahead and open it up. Oh, nice. Wow. So, I mean, this is the main attraction. The Vero Fulcrum is a pry/driver tool, and it has this pocket clip here. Wow, this looks great. Man. So I believe I'll zoom in a little bit. I believe this is lasered. It's not milled. As far as I remember, I believe the lasering was done by Jonathan McNeese of McNeese Knives, if you're familiar with that brand. But so this is a Vero Engineering fulcrum. That's what this is, the full-size fulcrum. And so as you can see, this is the pry end here, and then you're able to store 2 WIA micro-size bits using these O-rings, these little rubber bands here, and they can go into the end here. So I'm sure a lot of you are probably already familiar with this, but I wanted to just do a quick initial impressions of it. I've never handled one of these before in any variation. But and I don't own any pries at all, and so I was really intrigued at being able to, wanted to try one. And after watching a lot of reviews, it seemed like the Fulcrum is a great pry and a great driver, like a good combination of those 2 particular functions. And so, I believe it was, as far as I remember, kind of if it wasn't the first to ever do it, is kind of one of the first pries to popularize the kind of hybrid of driver and pry. And so I think it's let's see, what does the box say? So designer Joseph Vero, configuration Black Sagaiha. So it doesn't say anything about the materials, but my understanding is it's like a grade 5 titanium. This is the black DLC version. There's like just a raw or like stonewash titanium and as a base model, and there's also like a stonewash, which is like a kind of dark gray black. But here it's really interesting that they get this like blue kind of reflective effect, and the DLC you can see under kind of behind it. And so this is very much decorative. I wouldn't say it doesn't really give you much traction. I mean, there's like the slightest amount of like depth to these grooves, but it's not much at all. Nothing significant. So yeah, this is, let's see, compared to my boot. So I think it's like 5 inches long or so, the fulcrum. So it's a decent length. So if you really actually needs a decent amount of leverage on something like a nail head or something like that, like trying to, I don't know, separate like a paint can lid or something like that, I'm sure this could do the job plenty well. And also in the box, we get these additional O-rings and then different, let's see, a T10, T6, and what is this last one? Is that probably T6, T10, T8? Oh, an additional T, because so this is Phillips head 1, and this is a flathead. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. I'm going to replace those with different bits because I anticipate mainly using this for the Torx aspects. So this will go in my what do you call it? Okay, so there's no magnetic retention here. It's just the O-rings that hold these bits in. So I'll take those out, and let's get these in here. Let's see, I'll use the T8 and the T6. So this will be nice. The only other micro size driver that I have is that the NAVS bit driver, or I can't remember what it's yeah, spin driver or something like that. I can't remember the exact name of that one, but the one by Ben Peterson's company, which is a great driver as well. And so now I have a T8 and a T6 in here because those are the most common screw sizes that I would need. Let's actually use it on this Voodoo for a second. Let's see. So I believe the pivot on the Voodoo is a T8. Let's just take that one out. And then if you can see that there's a magnetic, there should be a magnetic, magnetic magnet within the socket of the driver. So there we go. I feel like I'm making this more difficult than it actually is to roll these O-rings back and forth, but yeah, so there we go. So then, what is it? I have not disassembled this fully before, but I have like loosened this pivot like an eighth, like a 16th to an eighth of a turn from the factory to get it to drop a little more freely. And thankfully the lockup has not been affected at all. So let's see if I can do it even more. So right now it's here. Let's see. Okay, so I turned it a little bit more there. Let's see. Okay, so I'm starting to barely get anything here, but let's see how freely it drops now. Wow, that's great, yep. Yep, so now it drops really freely. So yeah, and let's see how the centering is there. Looks pretty centered to me, so yeah, but anyway, obviously this video is not about the Voodoo, but yeah, here is the Vero Fulcrum. It feels like, yeah, I have my medium-sized hands. It's definitely bigger than my hands, which is great. So, I mean, even though it's not a round profile, you know, it is kind of feels, the nice thing is these chamfers, the profile of this, it's not just like a pure rectangle. It's like an oblong, I guess, octagon. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, basically an octagon. There's eight facets from the profile, and so it does give you actually another. Like, I mean, I don't anticipate using this for anything seriously tight or, you know, Loctited hard, but it's, you know, it seems like you could get decent torque on using this pry bar as a driver. You know, I don't find myself needing a pry very daily or frequently, but there are times when I've had the realization, oh, it would have been nice to have a pry, and looking forward to getting to try one out for the first time first time in any capacity, and seeing how useful it is for me personally. So I don't know, is there anything else to go over right now? Yeah, I think the combination of black and blue it's not like my favorite combination, but I just love that this is a very unique pattern that obviously Urban EDC is kind of like the main brand that utilizes this pattern. Not that other brands don't, but they're definitely they use it the most frequently, and I think probably popularized it in the EDC community at least. And so yeah, I think it's cool to have like a unique version, just not the plain Jane Fulcrum, even though that I would totally settle for that as well. But I actually had like $100 gift card credit from my previous purchases at Urban EDC that I could use to almost basically pay for the entire thing. I think it's $115 was what this cost before shipping. So yeah, I basically got it for free, which is great for me. So that's part of the reason why I decided to pull the trigger on it now. And so yeah, slide that. Let's see, is it easy to slide these? I guess. Yeah, that's not too bad. You can like, I didn't move both O-rings. I tucked the head under this O-ring and then just slid this one back a little bit, and I was able to get it in there pretty easily. So yeah, that's great. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this in my my EDC tool pouch and just having it around with me as needed. I'm sure, like, I've heard people say this is also great as a flathead as needed, rather than having to pull out an actual driver to, and throw in a flathead bit. So we'll see if I end up using it in that capacity. But, I'll probably the next kind of like EDC update, I'll give you any updates if I find myself, what use cases I find for this Fulcrum. So yeah, I hope you, enjoy getting a close look at this. If you're interested, go ahead and check out Urban EDC Supply. If they still have any, I'm not sure, can't guarantee it, but good luck with that. So yeah, until next time, take care.